Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's episode of Marv on Air, 6/4/24, June 4th. We are back and better than ever. Today, we've got a very, very special interview. I cannot believe that this is happening. This man went insanely viral a few years ago and then popped back up on my feed, and I saw maybe 15 seconds, and I said, man, I need to get this guy on the show. This guy is a professional mind boggler. He doesn't need more than about 3 seconds. Once you see what he's got on the screen, you're instantly like, okay, I need to see more. He's been doing this a lot longer than I since he's been viral. Okay, this is a long time coming. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Michael Rayner. Michael, how we doing?
I'm good. I'm trying to make sure I'm not too dark. I'm sorry, the lighting is weird. I hope that's all right.
No problem.
I am doing great, and it's weird. I've always just stayed steady and true with social media. Like I went viral when I first started during COVID, had several viral videos. The last 6-7 months, not viral, and now my TikTok and my Instagram, like my Instagram has like 4 or 5 videos over a million, one at like I think 12 million right now, and then my TikTok has like 3 or 4. Actually made 3,200 on TikTok this last cycle, which was very exciting.
Oh, baby.
3,200 on TikTok for May, and I didn't even know I could make money on Facebook, and all of a sudden I made $500. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Let's go. Hey,
I
get
know.
the bag. Let's
very
go.
excited about it. So
no, that's exactly what happened. I saw you. It was like during quarantine. I saw you did an interview with some local news station. Your daughter put you on TikTok.
Oh yeah. Wow, you go old school. That's the very beginning, because I was not really as active on social media. Once we hit the pandemic and I had like 120 live shows canceled, I dedicated it once a day to posting whatever it was. And then I grew my account from like 100 followers on TikTok. One video got me to like 120,000. Then another video got me to like 250. Another video got me to 400,000. Now I'm like 25, like over 500,000 on TikTok. And
Woo!
My Instagram has gained 120,000 followers in the last 9 days. At like, I think it's at like, let's see, 370,000 on Instagram. Wow. Even though Instagram doesn't pay me, I don't know how to, But I do get live shows, and I do get requests to do little cameos, but not cameos. Somebody will say, "Will you wish my family a happy birthday?" And I'll send you $100. Takes me 10 minutes, and they send me $100, which is nice.
Free money. That's free money. No, you need to leverage some sort of brand deal, maybe with like the rackets or the Nicolas Cage pillow or something. Your content is so unique, and I don't know how you came about this. I know I went all the way back to it was some clip. I don't know what the Late Show was. It was one of the first times you juggled, I would assume, the hamburger on the parasail. And, man, you've been doing it a long time. But how do you come up with this stuff? It's so just completely – it feels random, but you're very, very good at it.
Well, that's – I kind of like the randomness of when I do shows. I call it the found object juggling show. A lot of jugglers are really technical, and they need a lot of headspace to do, crazy tricks with balls and clubs. Right. But with the parasol and the rackets, I can kind of stay in this plane a little bit high sometimes. So I can do a lot more shows at a lot more venues that don't have high ceilings. So it's like, I like weird things. Like, I don't think a lot of people see parasol juggling as much. And so the spinning things on a parasol, and also the racket trick is more like flow artists do it kind of slow. And so I like the racket because it's fast and intense. And so that's why I gravitate towards those things, and then weird combinations with them. Since COVID, I've learned a lot of new combinations and a lot of new weird variations. One of the variations I've been doing a lot lately is spinning the racket on one hand and juggling 2 pins in the other. That's a variation during COVID. I'm now getting pretty good at spinning 2 things on 2 parasols. So 2 parasols, 2 things, spinning that. That's getting better and better. I've done some not brand deals. Hardee's restaurant asked me to do some videos for toaster sticks. And so I would do a trick and then eat a toaster stick. I didn't even have to put it on my socials. They put it on theirs.
Yeah.
company called Blinkist had me do some videos just for their social. So I do get, this and that but I don't have any of those big brand deals. And, I'm not even looking for it, because a lot of times if you watch social media now, it's like TikTok shop, TikTok shop, TikTok shop. And it just seems a little bit overplayed. So it has to be good money and the perfect thing that fits me. I'm not, because I keep on getting, people want me to do stuff for like leggings, like ladies leggings. Am I going to wear some ladies leggings while I do my tricks? I don't know.
No. I get exactly. That's a great. We see a lot of people that just sell out. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, I'll take the money, cash grab, and then they kind of fall off. I love that you've stayed true to your brand. And you mentioned Hardee's there. I was looking back, and you started in commercials. Is that?
Yeah, I did a lot of, when I first got to Los Angeles, I did like 65 national TV commercials. It was great. I got to LA, and within, I don't know, 3 months that I was flying to Canada to work with one of the Beatles, Ringo Starr. It was really fun. It was great. It was great fun. And it was a series of commercials that lasted over 2 years, which was really fun. It was for a credit card. And it was weird. The money I made on that credit card, I paid that credit card off with that money. So it's like they lost money twice. They paid me, and then they didn't get interest from me from that credit card. So they really screwed up. They screwed up.
Yeah, so. Businessman here, playing the cards very well. I was looking through some of them, and there's some. You mentioned Ringo Starr, and I saw I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he's Cameron in Modern Family.
Eric Stone Street. Yeah,
Eric.
Back in the day, he did a lot of commercials, and we would be at the same auditions, and we did this. It was IBM commercials, and he did a bunch of them. I only did one, but that one was like a big payday, because it was worldwide plus print. I had a print part of that in Time magazine, so I was a male model. Thank you, everybody. I'm a male model now.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. And the great thing was, then Eric Stone Street went on to be very famous on Modern Family. And I was eating at a local restaurant, and he saw me, he ran over to say hello to me. And it was really nice, because his status had really accelerated. And he even tried to get me on. He was on some show. I don't know if it was like Domino Wars or Lego something. He had show where he loves all my tricks, and he wanted to get me on, but I was booked on another show that day, and I couldn't do it. So he tried. It was nice.
Yeah, no, he's a very nice guy. I've seen his stuff with the Chiefs and all of that, when he pretends to be Andy Reid. And he's a great actor. And before I go into your live shows, because I do want to talk a little bit about that, what I was just curious if you had a favorite, actor or somebody in commercials that you worked with, or the Late Show, an experience you had that was just kind of stood out, because I'm sure you've had just an unbelievable amount of awesome experiences, but one that you were like, okay, that was cool.
I think a couple things. Being on the Late Show with David Letterman was really fun back in the day. That was great. And the thing was, I was super sick, and they called me, said, hey, can you come do Stupid Human Tricks on David Letterman? And I barely was in a fog, and I said yes, and I flew out on Christmas Day through the night, and they asked me to bring cheeseburgers from Los Angeles in case for some reason New York cheeseburgers didn't work. Okay, so I was flying with 6 burgers in the overhead bin, so everyone was getting hungry on the night flight, because I kept on smelling burgers and they didn't know why. That was fun. Being on the David Letterman show, doing the commercial with Ringo Starr was amazing. That was great fun. I'm trying to think of anything else. Those are the 2 big ones. I think also Frank Sinatra had, I did a commercial for Frank Sinatra CDs where I spun a donut on a parasol, and I asked the producer, this was when Frank Sinatra was still alive. I said, did he have to approve me? And they said, absolutely. He's very hands-on. And he was old. I don't know if he was lying to me, but the thought that I was approved by Frank Sinatra is very exciting.
That's really, really neat. Man, to think that's just like the donut one I saw that it exploded. That's, I'm sure, kind of where that all started. I guess I don't know for sure, but the hamburgers in the flight is an interesting one. That it wouldn't work in LA. And speaking of not working, I thought it was I had only known you obviously from TikTok, and then I reached out through Instagram when you kind of hit this second wave. But you do the live shows, and so
Yeah.
you'll be spinning the hamburger on the parasol, and you're in front of a live audience. And you'll say, all right, here's the deal: picking up a second parasol, going off the knee onto this other one. And you do it you never fail. I don't know how is that possible? How are you able to perform?
It's 99%. Obviously, sometimes it does fail. Sometimes it breaks apart too early. There are times, but mostly 99.9% of the time it's fine and it works and all the tricks work. The weird thing is that's why I can't do Nicolas Cage basket. I mean, I could obviously if I can't bring a basket, but I was thinking about bringing a rolling cart to shows and then throw him into a cart, but that's a little bit too technical. I have to just get their right energy on the Nicolas Cage basket. So that's strictly social media, but all the other tricks I can do live. But here's the weird kicker. I was doing a family show and I was doing crazy tricks with rackets, and a kid in the front row said, "Where are the green guys?" And I go, "What do you mean? The green guys, this is not real. There's green guys around you." They had been so indoctrinated with everything as CGI, with people in green suits doing the tricks. They somehow thought there were green guys with me helping me do the tricks. And they couldn't see the green guys, even though it was live. Isn't that a weird mind warp?
That is crazy. And this whole, the generation, these younger kids, this is all they know is social media and everything. And I was looking through some of your posts, and I know, I don't know if you know this, but social media, they'll hitch onto some maybe someone starts it as like a joke, and then everyone follows suit. Right now it's the strings. Everyone says, "Oh, where's the string? The string's on the racket. The string's on the hoop." They're getting creative with it. Do you feed into that? I know you've seen I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do, and I even put on the post, not actually angry, because I'll do furious rants.
Yeah.
Because those make me money. People love outrage. And even though I put in the post, not really angry or not really furious, on some of those, one I did, oh man, I think it was one of the first time I went to the creator program, I went out and got a basket and a rant, one take. And then I went to a play with the wife, and I looked down and I'm at 500,000 views. And then it went a 1.5 million, and I made $1,000 on that one because people love the rant. So I sparse them out doing the rants, so that today was just a regular one. I've got a couple rants loaded. So I use the string thing, the magnet things, different things to make money, whenever I want to try to. And then sometimes
you gotta make rent.
Yeah, lately I haven't had to. There was a couple that went viral that I didn't have to do a rant, but you never know.
Yeah, no, and I don't see how every single post doesn't go viral, to be honest. I found you and I was like, "Hey, do you want to come on?" And then surprisingly, you were like, "Yeah, let's do it." So then I'm like, "Hey, everyone I know, you got to see this guy." I start scrolling through, and every single one, I'm like, "This is the coolest thing I have ever seen. This is so unique, and you're so good at it." You talked about loading up some of those, the rants and stuff. I'm curious, just from a content creator's perspective, I don't know how much other people will care about this, but how many do you film at once? Do you film 2, 3, 4? You're posting every day.
Oh, that's, I sometimes I do film 2 or 3 or 4. Sometimes I just go out in the morning and shoot one that maybe I'll even use the same day or have it. Then if I'm not inspired, or if it's bad weather, or if I'm really busy, I'll go through my archives and do a best of compilation. But whenever I do that and do a compilation with a voiceover, sometimes TikTok doesn't think it's me. Because they think I'm grabbing other people's content because it's edited, and then I'm doing voiceover on it. Yeah. And then I have to say, "Look, it's me. This is who I am. You've seen all my other content." Yeah. And the funny thing is, I've done a show with TikTok, and I got banned once for a couple weeks.
Oh, I didn't know this.
I balanced a wheelbarrow on my face, and it was dangerous content, and I'd done a couple other things. And then I took off all my fire stuff. But lately, I think they know that I'm a pro, because I said, "Listen, this is what I do." And I've been sneaking fire back into the posts on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I did a show for TikTok, And I said, listen, I've done a show for TikTok and done these tricks for you. Why are you banning me? And so I think I might be okay right now.
Yeah. No, well, and the fire thing is really neat. I was about to ask. I don't know if you eat the fire burgers. Do you eat the burgers that you spin? Do you generally eat those?
The like a lot of the burgers are just a fake burger for practice, but when I do a live show, it's a real burger. But then I might have one left over. I don't eat them, but sometimes I'll break them up into little pieces for the dog. Or I know this is weird. Between having the two different dogs we had one dog and then we have another dog, but we had like 4 months without a dog or 5 months.
Yep.
I would leave them out in this specific part of the yard, and the possums would come eat the burgers. So we would actually, and I would set up a little camera, and I get possum footage. And one night, the possum came out, and it looked really weird. It's like, what are those tumors on it? It had 3 baby possums hanging on its back, eating the burger at the same time. So I live in pretty urban Los Angeles, but in like a little side street with trees. People think LA is all city. No, it's big and sprawling, and I have possums, skunks. One night I thought it was a possum that came out, and I looked, it was a giant raccoon. So we always get coyotes down from the hills in the neighborhoods. So
got to stay safe out there. They're coming for you next. They know where the source of the burgers is.
There you go.
Yeah. So with the live shows, you kind of mentioned that I saw something you were doing like 90 shows in like 100 days or something. Because it seems like you're very busy.
Somebody just asked, because I promoted, I'm going out tomorrow to Joshua Tree and Yucca to do shows, and it's free. Libraries have a thing called Friends of the Library that do little events throughout the year. They sell books, they do little things, and then they use that money to bring in activities at the library to promote reading. I don't have to do anything promoting reading, but they'll get books about circus, jugglers, magic, the variety arts, and they'll promote those books when I come out to the library and do the performance. So I'm doing shows at libraries. I'm going to a thing in Denver called Tour de Fat. I've got a theater show coming up. I don't know where that one's at. I think it's La Habra or something. I got to look when I get it. And then I also have like people hire me. Like I go to, I'll just go to people's houses and do house parties. I go everywhere. I do anything. I'm a mercenary. I will go where you want me to go and do tricks.
I love that. That's, you're very versatile. I like that. You're wearing the Michigan sweatshirt. I'm sure you did that for a reason. You're from Michigan. Did you move out to LA for the commercials? Is that where you wanted to go initially? I can let you tell the story of how you got into juggling and all of that if you want.
Yeah.
I'm just curious kind of how, because that's a big move.
Yeah. I went from Michigan, and then I got a job at Knott's Berry Farm in not Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags Over Georgia in Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta, which I loved. If you ever been, I don't know if you're been to Atlanta. I love Atlanta. It was a great city. I loved Atlanta.
A lot of people don't. It's surprising to me.
Yeah. I was there for 3.5 years at Six Flags Over Georgia. Really fun. A lot of shows, just cranking them out. Super fun. Went from there to Universal Studios Florida. Then after that contract ended, went on a tour of Canada, and that's where I met my wife. She went with me. She's an actress, and back in the day there was a Nickelodeon show called Guts and Global Guts, and she was the co-host of that. And then also, if you ever play video games, she's the Exo Stranger in Destiny 2, and she's Carlia in the Skyrim, head of the Thieves Guild in Skyrim, and tons of stuff too. Tons of stuff. We toured Canada with the show, got to LA, just stayed, and then I sent out my headshot, got an agent, and then started doing TV commercials, along with the live show. It was actually more commercials when we first got to LA before I built up the live show clients again.
Yeah. No, I didn't know you were moving all over the place like that, because in the interview I saw, it kind of sounded like you just went straight out there. But spending that time in Atlanta, I'm sure you learned a lot of different things. And I would be remiss, this is technically a sports show, as much as I absolutely wanted to have you on. I would be remiss to ask, obviously that's a college football playoff sweatshirt. Are you a Michigan fan now with Harbaugh in LA? You're in LA. Are you rooting for the Chargers?
It's weird because I'm conflicted because Blake Corum went to the Rams. and Harbaugh is with the Chargers, so now I have to root for both of them. But I still root for the Lions because I'm from Michigan. It was very
Okay.
exciting this year. They did so well, and then I
They
was a
did.
huge fan. I mean, every year we would, Michigan hadn't had a national championship since the '90s, and then we finally got a national championship again. It was very exciting, and huge fan. That's why this is the championship shirt. But I'm excited about Harbaugh being out here. He came to Michigan, got the program back on track. He got a national championship, and now he's out here with the Chargers. Very excited about that. And as a sidebar, I sometimes wear my Detroit Tigers shirts, and the Tigers now follow me on social media, and I was very
Ooh,
excited about that. The Detroit
let's
Tigers are
go.
following me. And then I do get a fair amount of athletes that follow me, which is really great, like baseball players. If you remember, I'm actually kind of friends with Justin Turner from that used to be with the Dodgers, who then free agency went to the Boston. I
Yeah.
don't know if he's still with Boston. Is he still with Boston, Justin Turner?
I'm not a huge baseball guy, trying to get
Yeah,
more into it. So, hey, if you want
yeah.
to link us up, I'll chat with him. We can get some baseball on this program. I've
It's
actually just
weird because
started turning it on.
I go in and out of baseball, because it's like because your whole season can be over within like 3 months. You're like 20 games out, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so many
Whereas
games. So
like
many games.
exactly like football, you can be like you can start 0-4 and then just sneak in to like the
Yes.
wild card, like at 8-8 or something like that, which is very
The
exciting.
NFC South in a nutshell right there, first off.
Yes, exactly. And so yeah, so there's always hope unless those years when the Lions were like 1-15 or 2-14 or whatever it was. They were just so bad for so long. So
Yeah, I don't want to deter too much from your stuff because I am here to talk about you, but that's a lot of sports for you to keep up on. You've got all these Detroit, Michigan, or
big.
excuse me, the Lions and the Tigers and all that, and then everything in LA. I guess I'm just curious, how much sports do you watch? What do you do in your free time? Because that's all I know to do. But do you spend a lot of time
Right.
practicing your tricks? Do you? I mean, I know you're very, very busy. I know that,
Right.
but
Yeah. I try to. The weirdest thing is then I even added. I really got into Welcome to Wrexham. That I never cared about soccer or football, as they say in England. And then all of a sudden, the first season of Welcome to Wrexham, I fell in love with soccer, and I always just. But I don't. It's hard to watch the games, but I'll always watch the live feed so I can do other stuff and just see the ticker and the sports score. Even when I'm watching, even with football, sometimes if I'm not getting the game, I can just refresh and see where they are on the field and whatever like that. And I'll check in with box scores. I used to be a huge Red Wing fan until they fell, you know, down and things. It's mix and match piece by piece. I'll watch like if the Rams are playing, I will watch the Rams because I want to support Matthew Stafford because he was with the Lions for so long.
okay,
But when he plays the Lions, then I'm back to rooting for the Lions. Just like I will root for Michigan State until they play Michigan, and then I root for
okay.
Michigan. So college football is actually my favorite, I think, because any day you can watch like a team that like I remember when Appalachia State beat Michigan when they were like a Division III school and Michigan was a powerhouse. It was devastating, but
Yeah.
exciting for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this question might be a little bit out of touch, but I am curious because it's been 10 years and you love college football. Are you excited for the college football game that's coming out? Do you think you'll get a chance to play that, or is that just all over your head?
Now say that again. The what now? The
So
is it
college football, remember it was big in the 2000s, and then the
yeah,
name, image, likeness stuff happened, and they had to
right.
cancel it.
NIL.
Now it's back, and they're bringing the game back on July 19th. Is this something you're gonna build a dynasty up with Michigan? Maybe get back at Appalachian State here, or are we just like,
Maybe
nah,
that's
not my time?
interesting. It's like I used to play a lot of video games. And then this is like you're saying it's an actual video game, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's on. It'll be on the two main consoles, PlayStation 5 and Xbox.
Yes, that's the one thing back in my video game days. But I just am so busy now. No more.
Yeah.
So on occasion, my daughter will load up the Fortnite and I'll hang out and we'll go on a
Cool.
Fortnite run. I mean, when Fortnite first came out, I would spend too much time on it. And I would always die because I wasn't, because I was always like, I don't even know all the treasure boxes, what all you can get, and how it
Right.
helps you. And then some of that, I would read. It's like, yeah, but on occasion, the daughter will fire up the Fortnite, and we'll just go on a Fortnite run.
That's awesome. So I know, speaking of your daughter, we can get back to you a little bit here, a little bit of a tangent there. But you guys, you taught her tricks. Is she still doing that? That was a couple years ago.
She does a little bit of the racket trick, a little bit of regular juggling, but she's a film major. She has her own stuff. She's making films. She was actually. I have two daughters. One that works at Universal Studios in the offices, and one that she's best first year filmmaker at her university. Then got best second year filmmaker.
Hey,
fun
hey, let's go.
Nice. So yeah, I've got a 19 and 22-year-old. So there you go. So, and she doesn't do as much social media. She was into social media a little bit, but then I just took off, and she said, "You go do your thing. You know what you're doing." So.
Yeah, I know you kind of talked about them just doing whatever they want to do, and I totally understand that. Are they going to go into kind of that commercial path that you went through? I mean, I'm sure you have contacts and all of that, or are they planning on being directors? Or
even my contacts are limited, but I have friends that are writers, directors, whatever, and I couldn't get. I know that my youngest daughter, who's interested in that, I could definitely get her an internship. My older daughter, she likes the office. She likes doing office stuff. She's not really into showbiz stuff, but my younger daughter is. And so, definitely, as much as I can do, it's not, I'm not famous enough to have Nepo babies, but I'm successful enough that I know people that they can get into internships, which is nice.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Speaking of the tricks, I've only got a few minutes left. I don't have Zoom Premium, so we don't have forever. And I'm sure you're very busy. I'm not trying to take up all your time. Do you have a favorite trick that you do? Do you like the spinning hamburgers, the rackets, the Nicolas Cage? Is there a component of that whole shebang that you do that you're like, this I like when I get to do these?
No, I mean, by far the spinning stuff on a parasol is my favorite, because
okay.
The reason is I learned without a teacher, and I learned a different way than everybody else learns, which makes it my way better, because I learned one-handed spinning like that.
Yeah.
And when I watched later on, I saw people would teach people by doing it two-handed. Well, that means I can't do two parasols if I would have learned the other way. And this is something I tell everybody, especially sports. You might have a coach that says, do it this way, which is great, but there might be another way to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's sad. In the NBA, they've statistically proven if you shoot granny style free throws are better, and yet nobody wants to look like a doofus.
Yeah.
So they don't do it that way. It's statistically a proven fact, and yet they won't do it that way. So,
no, you're exactly right. And we saw, obviously, like with the Ball brothers, their shot form was a bit off, but they got to the NBA doing that. If that's what works for you, then I suppose do that, No, I love that you taught yourself the parasol thing. That's the one-handed. And I saw a comment on there. It was like, this can't be real because of the amount of forearm strength you would need to be able to spin the arm. Like, this guy's a legend. That's what this guy does professionally.
I asked ChatGPT, when ChatGPT first came out, I said, can a man spin a cheeseburger on a parasol? And ChatGPT said, no, it would be too heavy. It wouldn't be possible. And so I stumped ChatGPT. Then I come back and ask it that same question like a day later. And I think it learned, because I asked it the question, that maybe it could, and it said, and then it reformatted to maybe, I don't know, perhaps.
This is possible.
So I helped ChatGPT learned because of my question.
That's awesome. You're culturing not only the people of America and beyond, but also technology that's coming up. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have any parting words of wisdom for anyone, not only in necessarily exactly what you do, but in sports or in like just growing your brand? Because it's obviously you grew it from the ground up from, you know, doing that, like you said, like in the 90s, just getting a job and being really good at what you do and turning heads and all that. And then obviously now with social media, you're killing it. You're absolutely killing it on there. Is there anything you would say to anyone out there trying to do the same thing?
Oh, absolutely. Here's the thing. I'm old. I'm 61, and this is for all the older people out there, and especially even the youth. I didn't start. My tricks started day one at 18. So if you're 18, you can still start day one and learn a thing. I am not a great athlete. Every high school team I tried out for, I was cut. So you wouldn't think that I would do a physical thing that was coordination. But what you do have is more time. So some guys, they might be amazing, you know, and it takes them an hour to learn something. So if you're out there and you're getting cut from the basketball team, remember Jordan was cut. You put in triple time, quadruple time to match that, and then you can come out the other end. So it's so much better that juggling is sort of a solitary thing, but that goes for anything really. You just put in the triple time, you know, and I put in the triple time, and that's the way it is.
I love that. That's a great piece of advice. Just outwork everybody. It's like Kevin Durant. Talent beat hard work when hard work works harder, whatever. Something like that.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yes. Before I let you go, where can people find you? I have it on there on your nameplate. BrokenJuggler, excuse me, on TikTok and Instagram, and then your live shows. That's all in LA right now?
Yes, and then I'm going to try to get something up every day and try to tell people where I am. I've been remiss on that. And then also marvonair.show. That is pretty much my site for like live shows where you can book me. And then on my social medias, you can always DM me. You DM me on Instagram, and I respond, and I book shows from that. So yeah, DM me, and I'll come do your shows.
I was gonna say, this guy responded with 300,000 followers to a guy that had 130 or 230 or something like that. Absolutely no business responding to that. Are we gonna see a book in the future? I kind of want to see a book from you. I feel like you could be a good writer.
I do think about that because I do things a different way, and I want to tell everybody that we always get locked in with college, university, and they have this one linear path. Mm-hmm. When I was starting out, my parents were cool, but everybody else was like, "What is he doing? What is he doing with his life?" I mean, I'm not kidding you. I own 2 houses in LA because of all these tricks and doing weird stuff. I graduated high school with a 1.97. That's a C minus, everybody. 1.97. There was no hope. And then once again, you just put in the work, you put in the time. When COVID happened, I thought my life was over. I'm going to put in the work, and that's what you do.
Bang. I love that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, Michael. A lot of words of wisdom. Did not expect you to be a big sports fan. I'm glad that we got in on that because I feel like you might be able to reach some new audience with that. Maybe get a baseball player on and hold a parasol for you if they're in town.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Rayner.
Thanks.